Is a Storm of Shadow spell worth it? Well, if you take a look at it, it's 4 winds of magic to slow a unit by about 50%, and if you overcast, it'll hit in an AoE instead. But you should be aware, the spell sticks to units instead of the ground. This means you should aim the spell to hit as many units as possible, and not worry too much if they split up. Onto the analysis, this is Enticity, and I'll be going over the first Warhammer spell. Taking a look at the overcast again, it's pretty worth it if you can hit 2 or more units. But this likely won't give you a good feel of how much value the spell will actually generate. To get a sense of that, we can imagine a scenario where you have range units firing, and generally Storm of Shadows will let your range units fire about 1 or 2 more times before infantry gets engaged. This means between 350 to 1150 damage for each peasant bowman volley, 550 to 1150 damage for each crossbowman volley, and roughly 1100 damage from each dragon guard volley. Now, given that Storm of Shadows can slow a front line of roughly 2 units long, you're looking at a 1100 to 4600 damage boost from the spell alone, assuming that you have 2 to 4 range units firing at the enemy. That's about 138 to 575 damage per winds of magic. Actually, not a terrible deal in optimal circumstances, but where the spell falls a little bit short is in the long-term department. After units are engaged, a slow provides much less benefit, and over the course of a 10-minute battle, you can expect 3000 damage from the initial charge, and maybe a few hundred extra points of damage if you slow down the enemy early on for your artillery to get damage in. So overall, the spell can be quite impactful in the right circumstances, but there's only one way to know if the spell is better than the rest. If you want to see other spells in the lore of Yin analyzed, you should check out the videos on the right side of the screen, and if they're not posted yet, keep an eye on the channel, because I will be covering every spell in the game.